तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यभिमः योगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Verse 14. ज्ञानिता ज्ञानिते त्वात्मा आभास्यस्यैव न चात्मनः तथा च कथमाभासः कूटस्थोऽस्मीति बुध्यता. So after introducing the subject matter of a Jivan Mukti through the mantra, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad mantra 4.4.12, now Vidyaranya gives a brief commentary on this mantra from verse number 3 to verse number 28. It's a brief commentary. And then it will be elaboration. And in that mantra, so he started giving the meaning of the words of the mantra. And the first word which appears there is a word Purushaha. Atmanam chet vijaniyat ayam asmi iti Purushaha. So he is explaining the first word Purushaha. Means a human being, a jiva. He should know this Atma. Atmanam chet vijaniyat ayam asmi. Purushaha Atmanam vijaniyat. So this Purusha, this human being should know Atma. So the human being should know Atma is what? Human being itself, this jiva, is consisting of two portions, Chit and Chidabhasa. So, well, there is no pure Chidabhasa because Mithya cannot exist, independent of the Satyam. Pure Chit cannot be told also that well, you are Chit, because pure Chit has no ears to hear, no mind to think. So, Amanaha, Pranaha, it doesn't have a mind. He doesn't have anything. And therefore, pure Chit also cannot be told, well, because pure Chit also cannot be a living being. That's another thing. It's a living being basically is a mixture of both. Anyway, so he is called Purusha, Jiva. So Vidyaranya says, well, when mixture focuses on this Chidabhasa, then he says, I am a samsari, which is a fact because samsari travels from Sharira to Sharira. On the other hand, when focus is on the Chit part, ignoring this Chidabhasa, well, then he says, I am asamsari, muktaha, Brahman, etc. So how I look upon myself, well, depends upon whether there is a predominance of Chidabhasa or predominance of a Chit. And then the question was, raised that, well, who says this Aham Brahmasmi? Because Chidabhasa cannot say. Chidabhasa will say, I am Chidabhasa. I am Brahman cannot be told by Chidabhasa. Chit is Brahman, but Chit is not saying anything, let alone Aham Brahmasmi. And so, well, Chit cannot know it also, so Chit cannot be told Aham Brahmasmi, etc. And Chit itself cannot say anything. Chidabhasa also cannot say anything, because it is a Chidabhasa. So, well, then, so Vidyaranya introduces, basically it is a mixture. We have seen that. So Vidyaranya, to explain that, Vidyaranya introduces the meaning of the word aham. in three ways, word aham has been explained. The first is, he says this is a mixture, and people not knowing the mixture, of course, like ignorant people, use the word aham. And they don't know this is a mixture of Chit and Chidabhasa. So they also use the word aham. And that is a popular meaning because most of the people are ignorant. And so the popular meaning of word aham is basically a mixture, but not knowing it as a mixture. They say they are basically, they don't say we are Chidabhasa. They say we are individuals. So Chidabhasa itself and idea etc. comes, and then Chit also you know, otherwise it cannot. So therefore they don't know the mixture. They use word aham for an individual, even though it is a mixture, but they don't know. That's a popular meaning because most of the people in the world are ignorant. Okay, that's a vachyartha of aham. And then, second thing is, that's a primary meaning. Second thing is in case of a wise people who have done this drigdishya viveka, etc. And they know the mixture. And they know also that both coexist in one and the same place. And both coexist in one and the same place. That means they are not both. They are not two. There is only one. And the other one is appearance. So, and they also use word, wise people also use word aham. Then out of the mixture, either it refers to Chidabhasa or either it refers to Chit. So, in certain context, wise people refer I as a Chidabhasa, and in certain other context, they use the word same word I for a Chit. And in that, they do Bhagatyaga Lakshana, naturally, because they know the mixture. Still, they say that they are Chidabhasa in one context, and they say Chit in other context. For word aham, they say Chit. In other context, they said I means Chidabhasa. But definitely they are negating the other thing. So, Bhagatyaga Lakshana. So, basically, knowing the mixture, sometime in a context they use word aham for Chidabhasa or for aham word, they use it for Chit. And so, they do Bhagatyaga Lakshana, and therefore they take a Lakshartha of a word aham in both the cases. And Lakshartha is called secondary meaning. So, word aham has a three meaning. First is a primary meaning used by all ignorant people, and not, even though it's a mixture, but not knowing as a mixture. And the second thing is, second and third meaning will be a Lakshartha only, Bhagatyaga Lakshana, where the aham is the meaning of the word aham is a Chidabhasa, or meaning of the word aham is a Chit by Bhagatyaga. So this is how, this is the meaning of, this is what he discussed. So wise people, don't use a primary meaning. Because he has no confusion. So he doesn't mix together. And in Laukika Vyavahara, they say I am coming, I am taking classes, etc. They are referring to Chidabhasa. It's a secondary meaning. And in Manisha Panchakam, of course, Shankaracharya says Jnani does not claim that he is a Jnani. Brahmaiva, na Brahmavit. So basically in Shastriya Vyavahara, I is used for, in the sense of a Chit only, by Bhagatyaga Lakshana. That's what in verse number 13 it has been told by Vidyaranya also. Buddha aham shabdam kevale kutasthe prayukte. Wise people use I in the case of Chit only, asangosmi, kutastosmi. In a Shastriya drashtitaha, in a Shastriya Vyavahara, they use like this. And I told you also, like in early morning, right? Suppose if you get up and do this, Pratasmarami Rudi Samspurada Atmatattvam Satchit Sukham Paramhamsa Gatim Turiyam, etc. etc. There the word aham, is he has a meaning of Chit or Brahman or Kutastha. And when he says, I am coming in the dining hall, etc., or I am coming to India, etc., if he says, or I am going to attend that conference, this, that, etc. So, then in that case it is Chidabhasa only. So, he is very clear. Even though he uses for either of these two, knowing the mixture, he is very clear, even though he does a Bhagatyaga Lakshana in both the cases. He is very clear what is Mithya, what is Satyam. It is very much clear in his mind. Okay, now verse 14 we are seeing. So here basically, Upanishad gives the instruction in a mantra. Atmanam chet vijaniyat, right? So this Purushaha Atmanam vijaniyat. So the Jiva should know this Atma. So, well, it refers to the word Purusha refers to a knower principle, Jiva. So, in this context, well, we have to take a appropriate meaning of for Jiva. So, Purupakshi says, what is the meaning intended by the Shastra of a word, this Purusha? Purushaha Atmanam Vijaniyat, Shastra says. Shastra gives the instruction that this individual, the human being, the Jiva, should know Atma. So, Purupakshi is asking, what is the meaning, intended meaning of the word Purusha by Shastra? That you tell us. You are saying all this is Purusha, means it's a mixture and this and that, but you tell us what is the meaning of word Purusha which is intended by Shastra. Shruti basically instructs a knower only, because Shruti is giving knowledge. So Shruti has an expectation of a knower, and therefore basically Purusha means a knower. And so Purusha Atmanam Vijaniyat means the Purusha should be knower. So this commandment is directed to this knower, and knower you are saying it is Chidabhasa, Pramata, right? And so even mixture cannot know. And therefore, because basically the Kutastha is Asanga. It has nothing to do with this knowing, etc. Even though you say it's a mixture, but actually Purusha means only knower, Chidabhasa. Not even a mixture, because Chit has nothing to do with that. Kutastha has nothing to do with this knowing process, etc. So only Pramata is addressed, the Chidabhasa is addressed. So it cannot join this, Kutastha cannot join the process of knowing. So don't say that it is the mixture, because earlier we said, mixture alone says Aham Brahmasmi. So, well, he says, no, don't say that. In mixture, Chit cannot know anything, Kutastha cannot know anything, it has nothing to do with this knowing process. So only that Pramata, the knower, the Chidabhasa only is addressed. That's what he says. So the intended meaning of the word Purusha is Chidabhasa. And he has to gain knowledge. Then we thought, okay, we should say yes. But his intention is different. Purupakshi says, well, RC, this Chidabhasa can know Atma. That also we agree with you. Chidabhasa can know Atma as a what? Chidabhasa can know Atma, Kutastha, not as oneself, because he is a Chidabhasa. And therefore, Chidabhasa is addressed. So, Purushaha Atmanam Vijaniyat. Purusha means this individual, the Chidabhasa, Pramata. Atmanam, Kutastha, Vijaniyat, he should know. So, but he cannot say, I am a Kutastha. Because Kutastha has nothing to do with this. And so, well, basically a knower knows the Atma. But knower knows Atma as Adhishthanam of himself. Not as just as himself. He cannot say, I am Kutastha. He can say, well, my Adhisthana is this Kutastha. Could you follow what I am saying? And therefore, he says, so this is a thing. What Chidabhasa tells, I am a Chidabhasa. I am Pramada, that's all. Knower remains knower. Knower cannot say anything about it. And if knower comes, only Shastra can tell the knower has a Adhishthanam in Kutastha. So he will know this. Oh, earlier he was telling that I am just a knower. I don't have any Adhishthanam. Now he should say, yeah, I have Adhishthanam called Kutastha. So he knows the Atma as a third person, not as oneself. Very beautiful point. Because if he says it's an adhyasa, anyway, let me come to that a little later. So he should say, well, I have a adhara chaitanyam, etc. And that adhishthanam is a nitya shuddha buddha mukta atma, etc. Knower can never say that I am a samsari nitya shuddha buddha mukta atma, etc. I am brahman, I am kutastha, etc. So look at this Purupakshi. Jnanita Jnanite means Jnanita means a knower status, and Ajnanita means a not knower status. Both of them are basically attributes. It's a Jnanita Jnanite is a Akaranta word. Samasa. Jnanita cha Ajnanita cha Jnanita Jnanite. Right? It's a Akaranta word. Prathama Purusha, Prathama Vibhakti Dvivachanam. So Jnanita Jnanite, well, this knower status or not knower status, both of them belong to whom? Atma Abhasa Seva. Both of them belong to this Chidabhasa only. Atma Abhasa means Chidabhasa. Both of them belong to Chidabhasa only. Nacha Atmanaha, Purupakshi says. It does not belong to Kutastha Chaitanya. Kutastha Chaitanya has not a knower status, not a not knower status. Neither of that. Either of the status does not belong to Kutastha. So by following instruction of this Upanishad, that Purusha Atmanam Vijaniya, this Ajnani Chidabhasa, Pramata, will become a Gnani Chidabhasa. And what kind of Jnanam he has got? That, I have a Adhishthanam Kutastha, which is Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta, which is ever free, which is asamsari, etc., etc. My Adhishthanam is like this. He will come to know like this. So through study of the Shastra, this Pramata, Ajnani, he get a progress. From a Ajnani Pramata to a Jnani Pramata. That's all it is. So he cannot claim, I am this Kutastha, etc. And he can claim that now that I have a Adhishthanam Kutastha. And that Adhishthanam Kutastha is free. I am not free. So, that kind of a thing he cannot say. Tathacha, that being so, Abhasaha Katham Buddhyatam. Knower and not knower status belongs to Chidabhasa only, not belong to Atma. How can Abhasaha Buddhyatam, how come this Chidabhasa will know that Kutastha Ahamasmi? How can he claim like this? A wrong claim is called Adhyasa. Right? He is a Chidabhasa. He should say, I am a Chidabhasa. If he says, I am Kutastha, means he is actually doing a wrong claim. A wrong claim is called Adhyasa. Any wrong claim is Adhyasa. When I say I am body, we say Adhyasa. Because I am not body, really speaking. Therefore, the Chidabhasa should say, I have a Adhishthanam of Kutastha, which is free, which is asamsari, etc. That is called Jnani. Jnani Pramata now. Jnani Chidabhasa. Earlier he was not knowing. So he employed this Shastra Pramana. And the knower Pramata, gained this knowledge. I have Adhishthanam, Kutastha, etc. But he cannot say, I am Kutastha. That's Adhyasa he is doing. So if Chidabhasa claims Aham Kutastha, it is Adhyasa. So this is what he is telling. Now Vidyaranya has to answer all this. And this problem is very common. Puja Swamiji knew this problem and therefore he was very much against this Chidabhasa. Anyway, I will talk to you. Verse 15. So, Nayam doshas Chidabhasah Kutasthaikasvabhavavan Abhasatvasya mithyatvat Kutasthatva Vasheshanad. So, Vidyaranya actually, by discussing this Purupaksha, actually, Vidyaranya has raised this Purupaksha. So, he wants to make us free from one problem, and which is generally there in students' mind. So, in Vedanta, we repeatedly talk about this Chit and Chidabhasa for the sake of communication, basically. And without that, we cannot explain this travel, etc. This is all Shastra. This is right. All this is in a major portion of the Veda actually. That one can acquire punyam, one can go to different lokas, one can have a different type of bodies, punarjanma, purvajanma. So definitely Jiva travels. So and sometimes word Jiva is not used. They say Atma travels. Jivatma is written sometimes as Atma only. Several places. Atma travels. Atma acquires another body. Atma has this kind of a sanchita. What is? And then if you don't introduce a Chidabhasa, just Kutastha, which is all pervading, then there is a question of going and all this, acquiring another body in Punarjanma and Purvajanma and Punya and Papa. Now, how will you explain that? And if it is our concept, we may say, we give it up, those concepts. But that is in Shastra. All the time you come across. In fact, in Vedanta, in Upanishad, several places it is there. Punya Papa, etc., acquiring another body, and talking about different yonis also. It's there in Brihadaranyaka everywhere. So one way we say Atma is all pervading, and other way we say Atma acquires another body due to according to his Punya Papa, etc., Urdhva Yoni and Adho Yoni and Mishra Yoni, etc. All these things we talk about. So then what to do? You have to introduce some concept of a Chidabhasa which travels. Otherwise, we cannot talk about it. And therefore, and not only that, Shastra also talks about many Atmas also. Yeah. So everyone has a different type of a sanchita and different prarabdha and this. So some go to the urdhva loka, some go to the adho loka, etc., and rest of them go to the Mishra Yoni. So means Atmas are many also. Atma travels also, and these things are not possible with respect to Kutastha. Kutastha is just one alone. Kutastha does not travel at all. So therefore, how will you explain the Shastras, this kind of mantras? So we will have to introduce Chidabhasa. And then so introduction of now two, Chit and Chidabhasa, will help in communication. Then we say, well, this is Chidabhasa travels, Jiva travels, etc., etc. And Sopadika Atma travels. Whatever you want to say, you say. With the Sukshma Sharira travels actually. And so, well, this Sukshma Sharira Abhimani Chaitanyam, or that is called Chidabhasa, or consciousness manifest in the Sukshma Sharira, along with the Upadhi travels. So, basically Upadhi travels. So, well, this reflected consciousness also travels. So, we explain that way. So, we have introduction of now two instead of one, Chit and Chidabhasa. So, that helps us in communication, in explaining this travel and in explaining manyness, plurality, etc. But it creates problem. Constantly, if you constantly talk about this Chidabhasa and Chit, student really feels that there are two entities. One is a Jiva, another is a Paramatma or a Kutastha, whatever. So, that's that's a side effect of this introduction. So that's how Puju Swamiji criticizes, this, using this Chidabhasa and Chit and everything. And in fact, there are no two entities also. We know this Chidabhasa does not exist as a separate entity. It's just a empirical appearance of the Chit, Kutastha itself. So basically, Kutastha is a very core of this Chidabhasa. Like rope is a very core of the snake. There are no two entities. And therefore, well, that Mithya Sarpa can claim that I'm rope. Definitely it can claim. Same way, here also, RC, this Chidabhasa can happily use word I, referring to Chit or Kutastha as its own nature, its own Swarupam. So nothing wrong if Chidabhasa says that I am Kutastha, empirically, basically playing a role of a Chidabhasa. So I am Kutastha, well, having put on a mask of a Chidabhasa. That can say. So, or Kutastha alone appears as the very knower, Pramata. So, this knowerhood is a unreal mask, my unreal mask, it can say. So, with this basically unreal mask of a Chidabhasa, etc., I can claim that I am really the Chit or Kutastha alone, and therefore there is nothing wrong. So, like when wave recognizes that I am a water, and wave is a mithya, water is satyam. So, water, wave, there are two words, but wave need not refer to water in a third person. But that, this water is my adhishthanam, I am just a wave. Need not. He can say, well, basically my swarupam is water. So basically, wave should use a first person. Aham for the water, not third person. Because water is the very core of the wave. Water alone is a substance, and therefore, wave is basically unreal mask of a water. So in Upadesh Sahasri, Shankaracharya ji says that don't say that I am a Chidabhasa with Chit. learn to say that I am Chit with incidental Chidabhasa. Yeah, I am Chit basically with incidental Chidabhasa. Since Chidabhasa is understood unreal, so knowerhood is unreal, and therefore there is no problem. So Jnanita, Ajnanita status belongs to Chidabhasa. But it should not say that, well, with a Jnanam that I have a Adhishthanam as a Kutastha, which is a Samsari, which is free. He himself, the core of that Chidabhasa alone is a Kutastha. And therefore says, I'm basically, really speaking, I am Kutastha. There is nothing wrong in saying that. So he should not use a third person. Oh, that I have a Adhishthanam Kutastha. I am Kutastha, it should say. That is correct. And therefore there is no problem. So that Vidyaranya says, I am na dosha. Well, this kind of usage, I am Kutastha. It is not a dhyasa. It's not a basically a misplaced notion or something. It's not Chidabhasa. Claiming I am Chit or Kutastha is not wrong. Why? Because Abhasaha Kutasthaika Swabhavavan. Chidabhasa Kutastha Eka Swabhavavan. So Chidabhasa has a Kutastha as its very content. Sarupa. And well, so there are no two things as such. Abhasatvasya mithyatvat, and it is temporary vesham of this Chit. There are no two things like wave and water, etc. And therefore, content is just a water. So wave can say I am water. Really speaking, I am water. Incidentally, now performing a role of a wave, or having basically a mask of a wave, etc. So I am Kutastha is a fact. So Chidabhasa can't be a knower unless, well, this Kutastha is behind it. So and therefore this is its claim on the part of Chidabhasa is not wrong. They used to give a Mullah Nasruddin story also. There was a Mullah Nasruddin in this winter he was having a big overcoat and he was going, and he came back, and he didn't know that there was a water inside in his house, and he just slipped, and there was a big sound. Then his wife asked, what happened? Why there was a big sound? He says, this coat fell down. He said, coat fell down. Why? What is that coat fell down? But why coat cannot create such a big sound? But I was inside. But then why you are saying that the coat fell down? He says, but coat cannot talk and walk and everything. So therefore, I am saying that. So could you follow what I am saying? So therefore, basically this Chidabhasa is like a coat of this Chit. So it's just a mask, basically. So let the Chit not claim anything. But still, Chidabhasa can definitely claim, as a Pramata can claim, that I am really speaking Chit or Kutastha, I am a samsari. So the person behind this Chidabhasa quote is this, the Chit or Kutastha. So Kutasthatva avasheshanat, Kutastha remains as a reality. So when he claims I am a Kutastha, Chidabhasa has been falsified as a mithya. Automatically, when you say I am Kutastha, earlier before exposing yourself to the scripture and the teacher, you say I am a knower, Chidabhasa. Not knowing Chidabhasa, but he says I am a Pramata. Definitely, that much conviction he has. I am a knower. And now these are the means of knowledge, etc. I am getting knowledge. Everything. So Pramana is there, and he is a Pramata, and there is a Prameya called Atma, Brahman, and there is a Pramiti. Pramiti means a knowing process. Everything is there. All the four are there. And basically, all the four are required. Dvaitam required. Ajnanam required. If there is no Pramata and there is no Prameyam separate from it, where is the knowledge? Where is knowledge? Suppose if I begin with this thing that I am not a Pramata, very Pramadrutvam is mithya, Prameyam is what I want to know, Prameya also is mithya. Where is the question of now knowledge? In fact, Advaita Jnanam presupposes Dvaitam. Pramad, that's what Nishkarmi Siddhi Sureshwaracharya ji says very beautifully. He says the difference between karma and jnanam is this. Karma also is born of ignorance and dvaitam. Karta, karma, etc., prayojanam, everything. Dvaitam is there. And jnanam also begins with pramata, pramanam, prameyam. And that definitely, that is, pramata knows prameya is different from me. If Pramada already knows Pramaya is not different from him, where is a question of exposing himself to this Jnanam? So Pramada knows Pramaya is different. So Dvaitam, so for ignorance also is there. Both are equal. For generating a karma and for generating a knowledge, Dvaitam is required. Here karta, karma, etc. Here pramada, pramanam, etc. And therefore presupposes ajnanam also. Dvaitam means everything is okay. But then he says, after even generating a karma phala, the karma is sustained till the karma phala comes to you. Karma generates, let's say he was talking about Vedic karma. Suppose you do a yajna. Now that sthula part, that yajna etc. is over. 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, over. But karma is still continued in form of apurva, adrishta. Till you, to give the result, karma has to continue. Whereas in the case of a jnanam, for generation you require dvaitam and ajnanam etc. That is okay. But once a jnanam is generated, it definitely destroys the very root from where it is generated. It destroys the very dvaitam. Therefore, basically, and then he gives a beautiful example. He says, like in a summer, there used to be that forest fire, etc. In forest fire, what happens is that, the 2 branches of a tree, which are dry now in a summer, they come in, they get, due to friction, due to lot of wind, they come under the friction, and then a spark is generated, and then a fire. So the fire is generated due to this branches. Now that generated fire destroys the very source. Beautiful example he gave. So karma basically is generated from ajnanam, dvaitam, etc. And it, to sustain itself, the dvaitam is required. Suppose karma is like I did a yajna. Suppose after doing yajna, very karta has gone. Suppose I gained knowledge. Suppose kartrutvam has gone. Then to whom that karma will go? That adrishta will go to whom? So he says, for generation of karma, karma and jnanam are same. Both require dvaitam, both require ajnanam, that's fine. But once karma is generated to ultimately give its own result, karma has to continue. Karma has to continue in form of adrishta, and even after thousands of years also, it will search that karta and give a result to that. And but in jnanam, generated jnanam destroys the very source, dvaitam and ajnanam. That is how it is. And therefore, basically, here also, kutasthatva avasheshanat, basically, so kutastha remains as a reality. So when I claim basically I am a kutastha, that chidabhasa has been falsified as a mithya. Okay. So now verse number 16. कूटस्थोऽस्मीति बोधोऽपि मिथ्या चेन्नेति को वदेत् न हि सत्यतया भीष्टं रज्जु सर्प विसर्पणम्. So Vidyaranya says that we have to change the language basically. Don't say that I am a Chidabhasa or a knower and Chit is free. Use word Chit, use the word I for the Chit and you say I am free, etc. But how can this Kutastha be the knower that you explain me? Well, I function as this Mithya knower in this Vyavarika Prapancha. I have a role of a knower, but basically the truth about me, truth about the I is I am a Kutastha, I am free. I am Satyam, etc. But that I am Kutastha, that Kutastha cannot talk. Why you are saying, you are not understanding my question. And you are saying that you should claim I am Kutastha. But then Kutastha never talks that I am Kutastha. That's what I am asking you. You are not understanding my question properly. Reality cannot talk this. Kutastha can never talk. When I told you, when I talk, I use a mask of a Chidabhasa. So when you say, then we gave example, if you remember. When you say I'm a writer, basically what does it mean? So with this pen, I am a writer. Well, originally I am not a writer. I am a human being. I am not a writer. But I am say when I'm writer, definitely I use that mask of a. I mean mask means I use that pen. I mean in this my mind, a pen which is not part of me. Keeping that thing in mind, I say I am a writer. Same way, basically, when I say Aham Brahmasmi, well, you are right, the Brahman cannot talk, I am Aham Brahmasmi. But just as I am writer with this pen, similarly with the Mithya Chidabhasa, well, I get a knower status in a Vyavaharik Prapancha. If mask is a Mithya, status also is a Mithya. Could you follow what I am saying? And therefore, pen is not a part of I, really speaking. But still, I say that I am a writer, keeping that part which is not a part. I mean, keeping this pen which is not a part of me in mind. I say I am a writer, even though pen is never a part of me. That is very clear. Pen is pen, and I am I. Therefore, still I say that. Same way, well, so with the mithya chidabhasa keeping in the mind, I say I am kutastha. You are right that kutastha cannot talk that I am kutastha, but definitely this kutastha alone keeping the mask of a chidabhasa, well, says that I am kutastha. That's how we say aham brahmasmi has been told by the mixture. Definitely it is by mixture. Then Purva Pakshi says, okay, with the mithya chidabhasa, mithya knower, knowledge will be what? Knowledge will be what? He is asking us. With mithya chidabhasa, mithya knower, what you gain knowledge will be what? We say mithya. So do you accept your knowledge is mithya? Vidyaranya says, I happily accept. I happily say that, well, knowledge belongs to this empirical world is mithya. So Purvapakshi says, well, bodhaha api kutastha asmi. So I am kutastha claim, well, by this kutastha with a mask of a chidabhasa, is mithya or not? Yeah, it is mithya. Well, it's unreal. So this is a Purvapaksha. So bodhaha api kutastha asmi iti bodhaha api mithya chet. You say the knowledge kutastha cannot say I am kutastha. Therefore, well, with mithya chidabhasa, with a knower status which is mithya, kutastha says. Then knowledge will be what? As a mithya knower, you gain knowledge. That knowledge will be what? Mithya. So he says, do you agree? We say, yeah, it's a mithya. So Vidyaranya says, na kaha vadet, na mithya iti kaha vadet. So basically, who said it is not mithya? This knowledge, aham brahmasmi, knowledge is not mithya. We are not saying it is mithya. We are saying. Because whatever the mass chidabhasa does, all its functions are mithya. Whatever chidabhasa pramata does is mithya, because pramata is a mithya. Right? Pramata is mithya, chidabhasa is mithya. So kutastha cannot do anything, you said. Then kutastha with a mithya chidabhasa, with a mithya knower status, gains knowledge, aham brahmasmi, or says aham kutastha, etc. Well, then knowledge also must be mithya. We said yes. Na mithya iti kaha vadet. We don't say it is not mithya. So when Vidyaranya gave a logic, very beautiful. He says if rope snake is unreal, then after knowledge, snake goes away. Right? Snake goes away. That going away is real or unreal? Going away is real or unreal? It's equally unreal. And therefore, basically, if snake is unreal, its movement also is going away, etc. is also unreal. So if dharmi is a mithya, well, its properties dharma also are mithya. So chidabhasa is mithya, its action also is mithya, its properties are also mithya. And well, definitely, its action called knowing, let us say, is also mithya. The knowledge also is mithya. So he says, Rajju Sarpa Visarpanam. Visarpanam means a departure. There is a sliding away, we can say. Just going away. You know, like Rajju, Sarpa is there on the Rajju. Just think like that. And now Sarpa is sliding away. And now we know, oh, it is rope only. Sarpa has moved away from that. So, Surp Dhatu is there. Surp Dhatu, Sarpati, means to slide. So, Rajju Sarpa Visarpanam. So, this going away of this Sarpa, Rajju Sarpa. So, well, Nahi Satyataya Abhidrishtam, it is not accepted as a real. The sliding away of this rope snake is not accepted as real. It is unreal only. So, Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam also is mithya. Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam is mithya. Then, this Mukti is mithya? Yeah, Mukti is mithya. If Mukti is mithya means Bandhana is mithya, yeah, Bandhana also is mithya. Everything is mithya. Shastra is mithya, Pramana is mithya, mithya. Whatever is involved in the knowing process, all are mithya. Pramata is mithya, that's correct. Pramanam is mithya. The very object of Prameyam is mithya, knowing and as much as. Well, I mean, whatever you take the Atma as, well, that is mithya. And this, the knowing process as such also is mithya. So basically, everything involved in the knowing process is mithya. All are sustained by one Atma, Kutasthailo. Pramata cha pramanam cha prameyam pramitistatha. Yasya prasada siddhyanti tat siddhau kim apekshate. Pramata cha pramanam cha prameyam pramitistatha. Pramata, pramana, prameya, pramiti, etc. Well, basically, all are. But Swami, why you say prameya is mithya? Atma is not a prameya. Atma is the one which sustains prameya, pramata and everything. Atma is not an object of knowledge. To say even just an object itself is a Brahma. Atma is not an object. Atma is, if you say Atma is an object of knowledge, means you, the Pramata, must be different. Knower must be different from the object of knowledge. Must be different. There is not a single example in which Pramata and Prameya are one. Please show me a single example. Pramata and Prameya are one. Knower and object of knowledge is one. Subject of knowledge and object of knowledge is one. There is no knowledge. What is knowledge? You say, I am gaining knowledge. Then definitely you are a knower. And object of knowledge must be, the subject matter must be different from you. That is not possible. And therefore, to Prameya also is mithya. To call it as a Prameyatvam, Atma as a Prameyatvam is mithya. Please understand that. Because Swamiji, how can you say Atma is mithya? No. Atma is the one which sustains all the four. It is not an object of knowledge. And to make it clear to you more, just go to Bhagavad Gita in verse, I don't remember the words, but Bhagavan very clearly said, Atma is aprameya. Very beautifully said that. Atma is not even prameya. Atma is never an object of knowledge. It is not an object of knowledge different from the knower. No, not at all. Atma is one which sustains. Yasya prasadat siddhyanti. In fact, all the four are revealed. Pramana reveals prameya to the pramata. Pramana reveals an object of knowledge to the pramata, the knower. That's not in case of Atma, in as much as very pramana, prameya and pramata all are revealed by the Atma, which is self-revealing. Atma is self-revealing, which reveals pramana. Therefore, Atma can never be revealed by pramana. No. Then what is the role of pramana? If you say, well, Shastra is a pramana for self, self-knowledge can be gained by only this means of knowledge. Well, regarding that self-revealing Atma, whatever the notions you have, right? All notions you have already, you know Atma, you can make Atma Katha, 500 pages book, very beautiful book, 500,000 pages book. All notions are negated by Pramana. Pramana cannot, if Pramana, the means of knowledge, reveal Atma, Atma is not self-revealing. If this is revealed by my eyes, this is not a Chetanam. This is Jadam, therefore it is revealed by Pramana. It requires a Pramata and Pramanam to reveal this. Ultimately, a conscious being is required to reveal this. Whereas which is self-revealing cannot be revealed by Shastra. Shastra removes the notions. And that's how for one Atma or a Kutastha we have thousands of words. Nityam, Shuddham, Buddham, Muktam, Aprameyam, what is that? Sthanuhu, Achalam. So many words. Why we require so many words? Puja Swamiji said in that Taittiriya book. Well, we require so many words, even though just Atma or Brahman is enough. We require so many words because, we have so many notions regarding the Atma. To negate each notion, we have to use another word. So when you say I am Ashuddha, well, I have done so many papas in my life, etc. So we say, well, you are Nitya Shuddha, etc. So well, oh Swamiji, I am never be at one place. I don't know what is my prarabdha, I don't know. But I am never at a one place. Something happens and I have to go. Who is this one who goes? You are sthanu, kutastha, etc. So all these are there. Several. So as many notions you have, as many adhyasas you have, well, so many words we have to use to basically remove this each notion. So jnanam is a mithya, and mukti also is mithya, bandhanam also is mithya. That's what Mandukya also says, you know very well. So this is how the thing is basically. So anyway, with this we have completed this verse number 16 also, and from verse 17 we will see in next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.